In the past 6 months, there's one mistake that tends to stick with me in regards to selling Pokemon cards. I'm sure I've made plenty of mistakes. I mean, that's kind of a subjective thing, but let me say this. I've learned more of a lesson from one mistake. But hey everyone, Nick here, and I own SapphireCardHouse.com. And currently my Shopify store is on build mode, so I actually don't have the checkout enabled. Since I've moved to Montana from Oregon, I had to have my shop down for a while because I couldn't ship cards. I need to get a PO box. So I'm really just focusing on social media at the moment. Anyways, so between January and February of 2025 of last year, kind of around when I started my Shopify, I had sold 3 kind of pretty decent sized cards. I sold a PSA 10 Shining Steelix for $12.50 at the time. I sold a PSA 10 Erica's Clefable, a Japanese Erica's Clefable for $2.35, and a PSA 8 Neo Genesis Lugia for like $7.15. And by the way, those aren't mistakes. Those are all market price of the card. The biggest mistake that I feel like I made was not buying more cards. I just put all my cards on my website. I was just trying to make sales, and I definitely did. But you know, a PSA 10 Shining Steelix right now goes for, I think I looked a little bit ago, goes for about $2,600. Now that's also not surprising. All these cards are going up, at least they have in the past, well, a couple years to be honest, but I know it's been pretty hot in the last 6 months, and that's normal. But what I think about is, if I didn't sell those cards, I would be better off right now. Hindsight is always 20/20 in the market, but, and that's not how you should look at it, but what I should have done is I should have been proactive buying more cards. Now, or at least that's how I feel about it. Because I'm not trying to get out of the hobby. I am trying to fund my business and buy more product and sell more. So all of the cards that I could have purchased around that same time, you know, they wouldn't necessarily have appreciated in that rate at which the Steelix and those other 2. By the way, it's not just those 3 cards. Those are the 3 big ones I sold. So it's really actually less relevant about those 3 particularly, and just more about all the cards I sold in general. But cards I would have purchased then may have, and likely would have appreciated in, to some extent. And so I would have been better off holding all those cards I sold. So yeah, just to kind of repeat myself, that is a bit of a lesson for me, is that, and also part of the reason that I don't have my cards on right now, well, the main part is simply I'm really trying to put my energy in social media, but I don't want to put cards on there until I'm really ready to start purchasing. Now, this is definitely a me problem and my differentiation of energy. Again, most of my energy is going to my social media platforms right now, or at least I'm trying. So yeah, that's one of my mistakes that I feel like I made in the past, 6 months. Again, I'm sure there are more, but when in the future, when I'm selling things, I also need to make sure that I'm buying things. Now, one could easily argue, well, what about the flip side? What if this was a bear market and it's a good thing you didn't buy product at that time for depreciation? And that is a valid argument. So it maybe is, market dependent. So in a healthy market, but it's almost like dollar cost averaging though. It's good to always be buying something because you can't predict the market. So that being said, in general, I think for the most part, if you're selling, then you probably should be buying too, so you don't miss out on opportunities. And obviously, if you're in a really stark bear market, then sure, then maybe if you feel like you have an idea of where the market's going, of course, you can use that information to make your own plays. But I think just on a general note, if the market's kind of flat in homeostasis, if you will, then my current thought is to, if you're selling product, make sure you're proactively buying. So that is one thing that I learned and that I will be doing in the future, just to be a bit more proactive at buying. And also guys, this isn't gonna be a very long video, but I also wanna mention, as of tonight, I'm not sure when you guys will see this, but I will have at least 3 episodes of my new short series called Catch or Release.
Catch or Release.
And it's just a 60-second video called Catch or Release where I show 2 cards of mine. I give you some hints to see if you can guess which card they are, just for a little bit of fun. And then I reveal them and you try to choose whether you want to keep one or catch one for your collection, or release as in you don't want it. I already have batch made a handful of those, and I'm gonna be trying to get more just to help me with my time. But I'm curious if you have seen those or you do see those. I'd be curious if you would let me know what your thoughts are. The purpose is just to be a little bit entertaining. There's quite a bit of editing in them, and it's a brand new thing for me, and so I want them to be the most enjoyable for people to watch, you know, with this current idea. And if it doesn't go super well, then I'll try a different one. But I plan on trying to do like 30 to 60 days at least of daily uploads, and those will be on all my social medias: YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. But yeah, if you have any ideas what you think would make them better or more entertaining or more fun, I'd love to hear that. I'm also toying with the idea of trying to do a couple of them with cards that I don't own, so just pictures from the internet. I'm not so sure how that'll feel on video format. I think it's kind of fun for people to watch me actually handle the cards. It would be significantly easier for me that I don't have to obtain the cards if I can just show some on the internet. So I'm gonna definitely try that a couple episodes, see how it turns out. But anyways, enough of me rambling. That was my topic for today. My kind of one mistake that has really stuck with me in the past 6 months of selling. Quite minor, but just one that I'm gonna remember moving forward. So anyways, we'll see you on the next one, guys. Peace.